I loved him for 18 years. Then I discovered the truth that destroyed everything I believed in. I thought I knew him better than anyone. I trusted him with my whole life, my future, my dreams. But one night, one small detail changed everything, and what I found next was something I was never supposed to see. I met him when I was just a teenager, young, innocent, and full of hope. He wasn't perfect, but to me, he was everything. We grew up together, shared secrets, dreams, and plans about the future. For 18 years, he was not just my partner, he was my best friend, my safe place, the one person I believed would never hurt me. Everyone around us thought we were meant to be. Our families knew each other, our friends admired our bond, and people often said, "You're lucky to have a love like this." And I believed them. I never questioned him, never doubted his words, never imagined there could be something hidden behind that familiar smile. Years passed, and our relationship only seemed to grow stronger. We talked about marriage, about building a life together, about the future we had been dreaming of since we were kids. I trusted him completely, the kind of trust that makes you feel safe, the kind that makes you believe nothing can go wrong. But sometimes, the strongest trust hides the biggest truths. It all started with something small, something I almost ignored. One evening, while he was in the shower, his phone lit up beside me. I wasn't the kind of person who checks someone else's phone, I never had a reason to. But something about that moment felt different. The notification showed a name I didn't recognize. Just a name, nothing more. But something inside me felt uneasy. I tried to ignore it, telling myself it was nothing, that I was overthinking. But that feeling didn't go away. It stayed with me, quietly growing stronger. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind kept going back to that name, that unknown presence in his life. The next day, I tried to act normal, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Days passed, and I started noticing small changes. He was more distant, more distracted, more protective of his phone. Conversations became shorter, eye contact less frequent. It was subtle, but it was enough. The kind of change you feel before you understand it. I kept telling myself I was imagining things, that after 18 years, there was no way he could betray me. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. He fell asleep, and for the first time in 18 years, I did something I never thought I would do. I picked up his phone. My hands were shaking, my heart racing, and I felt like I was about to cross a line I could never come back from. But I needed answers. What I found wasn't just shocking, it was devastating. Messages. Hundreds of them. Not just from one person, but from multiple women. Conversations filled with lies, secrets, and things he had never said to me. My heart dropped. I kept scrolling, hoping to find something that would explain it, something that would make it less painful. But it only got worse. There were pictures, plans, and conversations that went back years. Years. That's when it hit me. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't something new. This had been happening while I was loving him, trusting him, building a life around him. I felt like my entire world was collapsing. Every memory we shared, every moment I cherished, suddenly felt fake. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I just sat there, staring at the screen, realizing that the man I loved for 18 years was not who I thought he was. The next morning, I looked at him differently. He smiled, spoke to me like nothing had changed, like everything was normal. And that hurt even more. How could he pretend? How could he live this double life for so long without feeling any guilt? I wanted to confront him, to scream, to ask him why. But I couldn't. Not yet. I needed to understand more. I started observing him, paying attention to things I had ignored before. Every late night, every excuse, every moment he seemed distant, it all started to make sense. The truth was right there all along, I just chose not to see it. And then, I discovered something even worse. Something that changed everything. One of the conversations mentioned a name I knew. A name that made my heart stop. Because it wasn't just a stranger. It was someone close. Someone I trusted. And that's when I realized this betrayal was deeper than I ever imagined. When I finally saw that name, everything inside me broke. It wasn't just about him anymore, it was about someone I had trusted, someone who had been part of my life. I felt betrayed from both sides. That night, I couldn't stay silent anymore. I confronted him, showing him everything I had seen. For a moment, he froze. And then, instead of denying it, he just looked down. That silence was my answer. I asked him how long this had been going on, and his answer destroyed me. Years. Just one word, but it felt like everything inside me shattered. I asked him why he would do this after everything we had been through, after 18 years of love, trust, and loyalty. He didn't have a clear answer. He said he never meant to hurt me, that it just happened, that he didn't know how to stop. But those words meant nothing to me anymore. Because betrayal is not a mistake, it's a choice. And he chose it over and over again. I walked away that night. Not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. Leaving someone after 18 years is not just walking away from a person, it's walking away from a part of yourself. The memories, the dreams, the future you imagined, everything stays behind. But sometimes, staying hurts more than leaving. The days that followed were the hardest of my life. I questioned everything, my decisions, my trust, even my self-worth. I kept thinking, how did I not see this? How did I give 18 years of my life to someone who never truly respected it? But slowly, I started to understand something important. His actions were not a reflection of my worth. They were a reflection of his choices. And I deserved better. I started rebuilding my life, piece by piece. It wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight. But with time, I found strength I didn't know I had. I learned to trust myself again, to listen to my instincts, to never ignore that quiet voice inside me. Because sometimes, that voice knows the truth long before you're ready to accept it. This story is not just about betrayal, it's about awakening. It's about realizing that even the strongest relationships can hide the deepest lies. And it's about having the courage to walk away when the truth finally comes out. Have you ever trusted someone for years, only to discover they were hiding something from you? Have you ever felt betrayed by someone you loved deeply? Share your story in the comments, I really want to know. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Revenge and Life Stories and turn on notifications for more real, emotional, and powerful stories like this.